It was supposed to be the grandest event in galactic history. Unity Games. Every major civilization had sent their champions to the asteroid stadiums of Tau Ceti, where the air shimmered with excitement and paranoia. The games were more than just sport. They were a way to resolve rivalries, avoid wars, and let each race prove their mettle. Bets were high. Empires wagered prestige, and entire species watched from every corner of the stars. For the first time in 400 years, humans were allowed to compete, not because they were feared, but because they were pitied. The consensus among the elders of the council was that humans had lost their edge soft, scattered, forgotten. Their homeworld a fading myth, their military presence a joke. Yet into this arena walked a single human, a young woman named Lex Ryder, and nothing would ever be the same again. Lex's invitation had been a fluke, an inclusivity gesture. The commentators mocked her in 1,000 languages. She's not a soldier, not a scientist, not a royal, just a nobody with a good jump shot. The betting pools had her odds at 1,000,000 to 1, just there to lose. Make the highlight reels and remind the galaxy that humans were better off forgotten. She wore a battered pressure suit handed down from her mother, patched in 12 places. The visor was scratched, and the seal at the neck had been fixed with duct tape. Lex didn't care. She walked the entry ramp, ignored the jeers, and tried to still her trembling hands. A kilometer-long nightmare of traps, zero-G chasms, razor-edged, shifting floors, and live predators imported from 12 worlds. The aliens thrived in the chaos. The Obeli leaped over spinning blades with 4 legs. The hive brood flew on shimmering wings. The crystalline seraphim simply dissolved and flowed past obstacles. Lex had nothing but her mind and a stubborn refusal to die. The gauntlet began with a thunderous gong. Lex dashed forward, diving under swinging spikes, letting momentum carry her farther than the smart runners who hesitated. She read the patterns, ducked at the last instant, turned defeat into opportunity, using the traps themselves to knock out competitors. A seraphim lunged at her, but she fainted, letting it trigger a collapsing floor that sent them both spinning into the void. Lex fired her suit thrusters at the perfect moment, landing inches from the finish as the crowd screamed in disbelief. She was bruised, cut, her suit leaking air, but alive. Only 5 competitors remained. After each round, the challenges grew deadlier. The logic maze was built for artificial minds. But Lex outthought the bots by sacrificing pieces of her own gear, jamming sensors with duct tape and static. The water sphere was a 3-dimensional puzzle. Lex used her childhood tricks, holding her breath, kicking off surfaces, and rescuing a drowning competitor. Her kindness was mocked by the broadcast AI. Sentimentality. Typical human flaw. But the crowd started chanting her name. In every starport and moon colony, viewers leaned in. For the first time in centuries, they saw a human refuse to quit. Lex bled, sweated, and gritted her teeth through every pain. She learned her opponent's moves, guessed their fears, adapted faster than any AI. On the eve of the final, only 2 remained. Lex and Vern. A genetically perfect warbeast from the Heliox Combine, undefeated for decades. Vern's jaws could bite through titanium. His nerves had never registered fear. The odds on Lex dropped to 1,000,000,000 to 1. The Emperor of Heliox smiled, knowing the human moment was over. The final event was the labyrinth-changing maze of shifting walls, toxic mists, and mirrored illusions. Only one could emerge alive. As Lex entered, the walls shimmered, projecting memories her mother's death. Earth's last burning forests, every moment of weakness. Vern tore through obstacles, roaring, hunting for blood. Lex ran not away, but toward him. She used the maze itself, timing the shifting walls to trap Vern's massive frame, luring him into his own rage. She remembered her mother's words. Humans don't win by being the strongest. We win by refusing to break. Vern cornered her at last, claws dripping venom. Lex was out of breath, cornered, suit torn. He taunted her, voice echoing through the labyrinth. You are weak, human, surrender, and your pain will end. Lex smiled, teeth bloodied. You think pain is new to us? Dada! Vern lunged. Lex rolled, let the wall close in, wedged his arm. and she climbed his back, ripping wires from his armor, shoving them into the toxic mist. Sparks flew. Vern shrieked and thrashed, smashing the walls. Lex clung to him, refusing to let go, even as the mist burned her lungs. Finally, Vern collapsed, stunned. Lex stumbled forward, using the last of her strength to crawl to the exit. When the klaxon sounded and Lex Ryder's battered, bleeding form emerged from the labyrinth, the stadium fell silent, not because they pitied her, but because they finally understood what made humans impossible. She didn't gloat. She didn't cry. She saluted her fallen competitors, staggered to the podium, and when the cameras focused, she raised her fist. "This isn't a win for me," she rasped. "This is for everyone who was told to stay quiet, sit down, and be forgotten. We're human. We don't quit. We're still here." The crowd exploded. On planets across the galaxy, children cheered, elders wept, and leaders took notice. The odds makers went bankrupt. The council was forced to recognize humanity again. Later, as the stadium lights dimmed, Lex limped down a quiet corridor. An old Seraphin elder approached, offering a hand. He reminded us young human that true strength is not in muscle, but in spirit. "The galaxy owes you a debt." Lex smiled, exhausted. "Tell them to let the next human compete. There's more where I came from." And as she walked into the night, the story of Lex Ryder and the Games of Unity became a legend. Because she was the strongest or fastest, but because she showed the stars what it truly meant to be human. Somewhere, on a forgotten world, a new generation of humans watched her victory and dared to dream.